And
hopefully the neighbors won't watch this, but square backyard, bush, 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 shrub, 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 and then you walk into here and you got a little mini Eden.
He's got the pizza oven going. He's got the
love
grill.
It. My kind of guy.
And then check out this neat little pond.
I'm Greg Wittstock, the Pond Guy. Welcome to my channel, Greg Wittstock, the Pond Guy. We're with Brian Helfrich, my longest teammate on the construction side of the business, and we're in Naperville, Illinois. What'd you do here?
Wouldn't you like to know? No,
I'm about to see.
This is an awesome, it's a very average sized backyard.
Yeah.
And we did a rehab. So he had built a pond himself with his son about 15 years ago. And
wow, look at how beautiful this yard
awesome
is.
Space. Like some of these old features, it just needed a facelift. So we ripped it out and kind of put in a whole ecosystem. He used to have a pump down in the bottom of the pond and a makeshift biofalls. And
I could tell you one thing. I love it. We love it when we have gardeners.
Right?
These are people that love their outdoor space. Literally perfect.
Look at all the frogs on the lily pads before you scare them off.
Yep, tons of them. Yeah, look at all those guys. Look at all the frogs. We like to say, build it and they will come. There's no frogs in a neighbor's yard.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. And I love this, Brian, because you don't have to have a big, giant, beautiful water feature to literally enjoy the space. This is actually the perfect size water feature for this yard.
Look at how much is going on with the waterfalls. And Greg, the waterfall is no higher than my shin right here.
That's a foot. That's a foot high. One of the biggest problems that we see with customers is they want a high waterfall in a flat backyard, and that looks more like a volcano spewing lava than a natural waterfall. That's a foot high waterfalls, and it looks perfect.
This one, because they went with more of a custom stone, hand-picked selected moss rock, went for $9,500.
Yeah.
You could
so
do
for under $10,000, you could change an entire space.
She's a master gardener, and you can tell. Like, look at
it.
all the different plants, and things are always flowering at different times. And if you just look at her entire yard, the different varieties of different things that are going on, it's just it's an unbelievable space. One of the things you always talk about, what's your favorite?
Yeah.
But for me, my favorite is this cantilevered patio. I love this patio coming and hanging out over the edge of the pond a little bit.
I'm sorry, but I gotta say it. My favorite thing is the frogs. If I was a kid, I still do it. I'd be out here messing with the frogs. There's just a little goldfish in here. It's just a small, little, quaint little water feature. I love how it invites nature into someone's backyard. And when you look at that yard there, or that yard there, there's no life. Water is the source of all life. This water feature will attract birds. It'll attract they'll come frogs, dragonflies. People worry about mosquitoes with ponds. When you put in a pond, you'll hurt the local mosquito population because natural clean water like this with a skimmer will suck off the larvae that get laid, and then any mosquitoes flying around will get eaten by the dragonflies that come. Build it and they will come. So my favorite thing is the wildlife associated with this pond.
Check out the lotus.
Yeah, just about ready to bloom.
Just about ready to bloom. I think one of the things you showed me when I first started working with aquascapes was what water does on a lotus leaf. And look at how it can just bead on there.
An 11-foot by 16-foot pond, 2 feet deep, is the recommended, the standard size that we do for someone that doesn't really know what they want, because they're gonna find plants like this, like a lotus, beautiful hibiscus right next to it, the fish, the plants, everything. So this is a good standard size water garden for someone to really get into the hobby. 11-foot by 16-foot pond, under $10,000, and it will absolutely transform that space.
The other thing that I think is incredible with a pond like this is it looks like it's been here forever, right?
Yes.
It's not even been here a whole year yet.
Right.
So things are they grow in relatively quick.
So what was here? What did he have before?
There was a waterfall that came from the wrong corner.
Yes.
Right? So it started back in here.
Facing away from the house.
Facing away from the house, facing away from the viewing area. They've got this raised deck up here, and we really wanted to project that sound towards the main living space up there, which then of course pulls people down to this lower area. So the view from up top, come check this out. It's really incredible. And the garden just continues up here on the deck. Like, look at all these big cannas. They've got this great vine that comes over here, and then looking over, you can see right down into the pond.
Look at this. Like a jungle back here. I love it. The canna, cactuses. Wow. It really is a jungle back here, but I love it. You know what's so cool is just imagine this being your yard. You walk down and this is it. I mean, the wildlife garden, in fact, this is a certified wildlife habitat back here, and it makes sense because this would be attracting the birds, it'd be attracting the bees, it's attracting the frogs. It's so much. Where is nature going to go if we keep developing our backyards, our yards? I'd rather have a park in my backyard than have to go to the park to enjoy it. Invite nature back in. That's why this is a certified wildlife habitat, and it starts. The number one thing is always water, because water is the source of all life. I just want to hang out here.
Too many people are creating these concrete jungles in their backyard.
Yeah.
And why would you want that? Like,
Yeah.
look at this yard. And it's not, there's nothing overwhelming.
No, and it's low maintenance because it's natural. That's why they let it go natural. And here's what I love too. This is really cool. They tell us a lot of times. That's what your filtration system is right there. The biofalls is a biological filtration system. You don't see 1 inch in this pond of plastic, pipe, rubber, cords, nothing. It's simply a natural ecosystem pond. Go ahead and try to find the biological filter in there. It's buried beneath the rocks, the plants, and the landscape. Fantastic. Here's some tips on this. We've got, what is this, Creeping Jenny, Ajuga, some sort of a sedum, yep. And look at all the, not just the different colors, but the different textures, right? That's what it looks so natural back there. Catnip is growing over the edges. You want a vertical elevation too, so right behind the biofalls, this catnip here creates your eyes that will automatically go in here. And look at how many rocks were used. 2 big framing rocks, 1 in the middle, a few little stones, 4 or 5 rocks, and you've got a waterfall 12 inches high. And listen to that sound. Keep it simple, stupid. That's our philosophy. That's why we've been successful for 27 years building water features. This is a gorgeous water feature. I'm proud that my guys were able to do this, and this is a 50, 60 man-hour installation.
It's so much fun for me to come back to past customers' houses and see how they decorated, because everybody adds their own little touch. And the one thing that really sticks out to me is this teardrop, right? Look at this hand-blown piece of glass, and how creative is that? They just took a piece of copper, put a spigot on there, and made it look like this came out of it. Like, I want to grab it, but I'm 100% going to ask them where they got it, because that's very cool. So one of our challenges on this project, and it's actually quite common on most projects, is the slope always goes away from the house. And when that happens, and I have the slope going away from the house, and I want a waterfall coming back towards it, I usually have to build up a little bit. And so like Greg mentioned earlier, it's really important to keep that waterfall to scale with the yard. And when I build up, I want to make sure that berm doesn't look like a big volcano or this giant anthill. And to do that, we have a rule, what we call a 2-foot rule. And it means whatever height I set the waterfall at, I want the dirt to fan out at least flat 2 feet and then slowly taper. If I can't taper it as far as I want, then I give it a reason to stop. And in nature, that reason might be a big giant boulder or something. We just take clues from nature and study what nature does and do exactly that. So you can see this big boulder retaining wall that came in here. Keeping that dirt flat up to the biofalls, and then allowing all of this space between the wall and the biofalls for landscaping. Plants make or break every single project. And too often I see a dome of boulders piled up to the biofall and they leave no room for plants. Make sure you leave that room for plants. And if you have to put a boulder wall in, then do it. And this boulder wall works out perfect because there's this fun little pathway that comes around the back side of the wall and leads them up to the other side of the deck.
Well, you can see right here why this is a certified wildlife habitat. But in addition to that, Brian, my eyes have been focused so much on this garden. It wasn't until I walked all the way back here that I noticed giant high tension wires. If you want to camouflage those things, put things that you're gonna want to enjoy down low.
Well, and they do such a good job, right, with the plants and the color. Pops of color here and pops of color there, and then of course the water feature. So there's no reason for your eyes to go up and pay attention to that.
You know what? I hope you get as inspired as I do. I do not want to leave this property, and it's not expensive, under $10,000, and they've got this beautiful, absolutely breathtaking little water feature that will absolutely transform this space. This is so unusual. What do people say that come and visit you for the first time?
I think they're surprised to see it back here, number one.
Yeah.
And then surprised how soothing the noise is when you're sitting out here. It drowns out the background noise.
Yeah.
I-55 is right there.
It is. Didn't even know.
You can't even hear it.
Yep.
This takes a lot of that out of here. So it's very comforting when we're sitting out here having a drink.
We are in sunny Darien, Illinois, and I am Brian Helfrich, and this is my channel, Greg Wittstock, the Pond Guy.
That's pretty good, Brian. This is what I've been dealing with for 23 years. I am Greg Wittstock, the Pond Guy. This is my channel, Greg Wittstock, the Pond Guy. That's okay, they don't bug you. And so this whole point of this channel is to visit people that have aquascape ecosystem water features and showcase how people live the aquascape lifestyle. Pond or pondless?
Pondless waterfall. We built it a year ago. Actually, Chris built it. Oh, cool. It's like it's a hummingbird moth. See it?
Oh, yeah.
Super awesome.
Phil! The Greg Wittstock, the Pond Guy. How you doing? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
All right.
How are you?
This is a pondless waterfall, huh?
Yes, it is.
And Chris built this whole thing without me.
It's Wednesday morning. We're working on a pondless waterfall project. Starting off with the basalt columns right there. Drop down, there'll be a bridge over the stream coming from that deck and landing area right there, and the reservoir's right there. That's where they spend a majority of their time. But we also created this really awesome sunken fire pit. So we've got a fire boulder. Yeah, it's just gonna be awesome.
You found Aquascape,
Yep.
had the guys come out, and they built this. And how's it been?
Phenomenal. And
It looks
impressed
good.
with their vision. They came in, when Brian talked about it, I had no concept. I could not picture it.
Have we heard that before?
Yeah.
Could not picture it.
Well,
Yeah.
just standing here, I can hear it. I can hear that sound. I see the bridge. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it comes right up into, this is where we do all of our living, right? And this,
Right.
I mean, before it went from the basalt columns down to where the fire pit is now.
Right,
So
sure.
it was away from everything and there, but
And what room is this right here?
this is a dining room and a family room with the sliding doors over there.
So they overlook. I love the vertical element of the Mongolian basalt rock, Brian.
Yeah.
So there was just an upper pool, and you couldn't get the berm high enough to create a waterfall that was facing towards the house.
Yes.
Right, because the yard slopes so much.
Sure.
So to give them that vertical element so they can see something from inside the house, the basalt columns work. Or you could use a stacked urn or the
The birds gotta love that. They probably land
Oh,
there
yeah.
and bathe all the
Yeah,
time on
all
that.
the time.
I love the moss rock. Yeah, that's a unique design.
Isn't that cool? See that gap in there?
Cool. I love the little frogs. So Brian, my favorite part of this water feature is the Mongolian basalt rocks because I love that vertical elevation right outside their dining room and that's a great bird bath too. So many people don't realize because they look at this and they think high maintenance. Now, just tell me, how much maintenance and work is this for you?
You know, very little on an ongoing basis. I think there's a learning curve up front on figuring out how to, you know, keep the water clean and the algae down and everything else, but once you get it, very little maintenance.
And that's the point, because you're a IT professional, you don't want to be messing around, you just want to be able to sit back, enjoy, and relax and live the aquascape
I
lifestyle.
don't want to be out here working on it on a daily basis.
Is that a heart-shaped rock that you guys placed there?
It is.
That's awesome. And you haven't seen it, but there's an awesome fire pit on the backside that we put in.
Right, so it's part of the whole,
Yeah.
and that's the whole thing, it's about living the aquascape lifestyle. So it's not just the water feature, it's the view from the deck, it's having a fire pit on the backside, and it actually creates a reason to get outside. So the landscaping is basically a year old. So it's just
Yeah.
going to continue, and that's one of the things about a water feature is it continues to evolve with age. If you come back here in 3 years, this thing is just going to be absolutely grown up and fantastic.
Where the old pond is sitting right here. So
Oh, okay.
This retaining wall,
Yeah.
right over here, actually followed the contours of this, kind of came around, and there was more of an elevated pond here with a stream
Yeah.
that kind of came down.
Yeah.
So we took this space, and I didn't want to just do more plants. I thought it'd be an awesome place to kind of put this hidden
Yeah.
fire pit. And it's just this, it's the same rock, so it's a piece of this moss rock
Yep. Poured out.
drilled out. There's a burner in there, and there's a gas line that runs over to it, and
Pop it on, pop
Yeah.
it off, keep it simple. The design element is so important, and the challenge that you had was trying to get a vertical elevation in an area that you couldn't make a big berm, and that's why you ended up using the Mongolian basalt rocks.
well, you saw the view from inside, right?
Yes.
And I would have loved nothing more than to get a waterfall this high,
Yep.
facing towards that window. But if I had a waterfall this high, my berm has to go all the way out past this, and
the yard.
well, we would have needed 40 yards of dirt, a lot more stone,
Yeah.
and it still would have looked unnatural.
It's so important to design it, the water feature in scale with the property. And there's so many times that people make volcanoes spewing lava instead of natural looking water features. You work with the slope here, and now they have a usable space that's absolutely beautiful and aesthetic. You know, I love my job because I get to travel around and see a project that we did a year ago that I had never seen before and get inspired, and hopefully that will inspire you to live the aquascape lifestyle, because that's what this channel is all about. Brian, another great project.
Thanks.